Hey everybody, welcome to the West Dakota Dad. This is episode number 9 with a teacher. Merry Christmas, everyone. This is my last podcast before Christmas, so I thought I would read you guys a story that I had personally wrote. Now, mind you, I am not a writer by trade. This story that I had wrote is rather a trivial, summarized version of an original story of, in my opinion, which is the greatest story of all time. So in no way, shape, or form am I trying to use this version that I had wrote to replace that much better written story. As I read, some of you may have heard this story before and others may not have. I kind of wrote this in a way that would spark some curiosity of who this story is about. And as you read, hopefully you will figure out who it is about, and in the end I will let you know where you can read the original versions of this story. So without further ado, here is my story that I had wrote called A Teacher. She was a woman that probably wanted him to trust that what had happened was not considered to be unfaithful. He was a man that needed to believe her. This happily engaged couple was ready to be married until, in their eyes, an unforeseen circumstance came between them. She was pregnant, and it was not his child. Though he was probably feeling betrayed, angered, and confused, he decided that he would break off the engagement quietly so that disgrace would not be brought to her name. So he left. Until one night he had a dream so powerful that he would return to his love and help her raise and protect this child as if it were his own. And then the time finally came. On a starlight night, they welcomed to the world a baby boy. Meanwhile, news had spread of this child all over the country, news that one would think was great news. However, the ruler of the country was not pleased with what he had thought was propaganda surrounding this child. So he had ordered a genocide of all male children 2 years of age and younger. The couple and their new baby had to flee the country until it was safe to return. This child had survived against all odds of evil, grew up to be a great teacher, a teacher of what is right. He had taught all over, and his principles are still taught today. Treat others as you want to be treated, and love your neighbor as yourself, to name a few. He knew how to feed many people when so little was available. He was always a step ahead of those who wanted to prove him wrong and unjust. As great of a teacher as he was unable to teach in his hometown because they wouldn't believe him. So he is often found with broken and ill people doing work. A day had come when he was betrayed by someone very close to him. Someone that had an alternate agenda. Some may call it jealousy, others may call it greed. One thing is for certain, that the traitor's heart was not in the right place. Although no crimes were committed, the teacher knew that if he wanted his work to be completed, he was going to have to pull out a miracle. In the end, this selfless teacher would carry all the burdens of all of his people to his death. The teacher will have saved more lives than anyone in history. The teacher had a name, Emmanuel, which means God with us, but most calling him Jesus. God's only Son, conceived of the Holy Spirit, born of the Virgin Mary, was crucified, died, and buried. On the third day, he had rose from the dead and ascended to heaven so that everyone who believes in him will be forgiven of their sins and have life everlasting. Of course, you can find the original content of this story, and with much better context, in the 4 Gospels of the Bible: Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Christmas is often tied with Santas, Cindy Lou Who's, Ralphie's, and Cousin Eddie's with a septic problem. But let's not forget the real reason why we celebrate this holiday. I hope everybody has a very Merry Christmas. And thank you so much for listening. Until next time, I'm the West Dakota Dad. Many of you have heard, and some may not